An NBA player is best friends with Kim Jong-un? Let's find out. As much as we love our favorite NBA stars, we often forget they're also human, like any of us. They have made mistakes throughout their lives, but they have been able to hide these mistakes quite well, but not well enough. One way or another, these mistakes come in front of the general public's eyes, and some of them are pretty disturbing to listen to. So today we're going to be discussing some of their dark secrets that no one really talks about. At number 6, Michael Jordan. I think it's best to start off the video with one of the most famous and recognizable persons in the NBA, none other than our beloved Michael Jordan. He's gathered a big audience throughout his career, and he's reached some epic milestones that most players can only dream of, like winning 6 NBA championships. I mean, I've never even thought about such a thing because I know I could never. However, despite all of this, there are definitely some things about him that are quite dark, some lesser known or not known at all, that show us that he's not all that perfect that we think. I think we all know that he likes to gamble, but it has proven that it has been an issue for him. The most famous incident when Jordan's gambling came to the spotlight was during the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Knicks. In order to take some time off away from basketball and the buzz in New York, Jordan took a trip to gambling hub Atlantic City, New Jersey. But some say he went a little overboard because he apparently gambled all night long, and it ended up costing him the loss of Game 2 due to an underwhelming performance by him. Another thing about him is that he's been accused of bullying Bill Cartwright when he had recently joined the Bulls in 1998 after replacing Jordan's friend Charles Oakley. Jordan apparently didn't take kindly to this new recruit initially, and he faulted him for having bad hands, and he would throw bad passes to him at practice to try and highlight this. That's kind of going a little overboard with that. And he would also call him Medical Bill, although Cartwright still ended up helping the Bulls to their three-peat championship victories in the early 90s, and I'd say hats off to him, not only for being able to go through this, but also for giving the Bulls their classic W's. At number 5, Charles Barkley. Let's move on to our next well-known and loved NBA player, Charles Barkley, who also ended up falling victim to the addiction of gambling. Although he did admit live on ESPN that he's been addicted to gambling and has lost a total of $10 million at casinos, it's still not a very well-known fact. Oh, and did I mention, Barkley was also taken to court due to his failure to honor his markers for a bet worth $400,000. Gambling is definitely quite the strange addiction, and once you get into it, it's pretty hard to get out of. A lot of people lose their lives over it, and it's all about luck and just the high that they get from winning every once in a while that keeps them in the constant loop. Don't gamble, kids. At number 4, Kevin Johnson. Moving on to our next NBA legend, Kevin Johnson is a 3-time All-Star and one of the most exciting point guards to watch in the 90s. Despite all this success, and as unexpected as it is, Johnson has committed some of the most disgusting crimes you could ever think of. In his past, some even during the prime of his career. One of the first reports of his dreadful behavior comes way back in 1996, when at the height of his game, Johnson sexually abused a then 15-year-old girl, Amanda Koba, inside his own home, and that's absolutely disgusting. Johnson was never arrested or even charged for this, and you must be wondering why. Well, the reason is that Johnson signed a confidentiality agreement with Koba. It was worth a massive $230,600 for her to stay silent about this whole situation and drop the charges against him. I don't know how I feel about this, but obviously it took a toll on Koba's health, and Koba reportedly stopped eating for years and lost over 80 pounds, turning her into a shell of her former self. And of course, due to the fact that Johnson was never charged or even punished for his actions, word of his crime never got out to the public. Kevin Johnson was elected as mayor of Sacramento in 2008, and it was quite late when it was finally reported by HBO, after interviewing more of his victims, that Johnson used his position of power as the mayor of Sacramento to sexually abuse even more women. One would think that he might have learned something, but no. His victims also included 2 teenagers from St. Hope, Johnson's charter school in Sacktown, and 5 women have come forward regarding Johnson's sexual behavior with them in the past. But that's just those who've come forward. Who knows how many really were his victims? Some might have been silenced just like Koba, and even now, Kevin still has been charged with absolutely nothing, and that's just not okay. At number 3, Allen Iverson. Alright, so let's talk about one of the most famous point guards to ever reach GOAT status, Allen Iverson. The controversy that we're talking about today took place way before his NBA career, where he was involved in a massive brawl in a bowling alley. Iverson was a key part of the brawl. Why, you may ask? Well, due to him tossing whole chairs into the crowd, which resulted in 15 people being seriously stunned and injured. Charges were pressed against him, and he was taken to court, but he was pardoned by the governor, which suspended his 15-year prison sentence. However, it only took him just 4 months to gather a whole list of infringements, which included possession of marijuana, public urination, assault, concealed weapons charges, and a wide range of nightclub fights. It seems like he didn't have his crap together. I mean, this just gave me a shock. Like, he always seemed like a very nice person, but imagine him doing all this really just makes me want to think stuff over. At number 2, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman definitely made a name for himself during his time with the Detroit Pistons in the 80s and 90s. He's been described as a player that thrived when he was allowed to harass his opponents, and unfortunately, Rodman was even a worse person off the court. Rodman had battled with alcohol issues throughout his life, and he was arrested multiple times for DUIs. Not only that, but he's also been accused of domestic violence. All in all, he was the representative of controversy wherever he went. And to make matters even worse, which I didn't know was even possible at this point, Rodman struck up a friendship with the North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un, who's famous for his love of hatred towards humanity, and his dictatorship is one of a kind. And of course, to put the cherry on top, he held a whole birthday basketball game for him. I just can't. There's so much to process with all this. What do you guys think? Please tell me I'm not the only one kind of grossed out by all this. Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, at number 1, Metta World Peace. Well, you heard me right. We're talking about Metta World Peace, the former Chicago Bulls small forward, also known as Ron Artest. Well, why are we talking about him, you may ask? And why is he on this list? Well, in that case, it seems like you don't know that he was known to not be mentally stable. And at one point in his career, he found himself in the limelight of the NBA for all the wrong reasons imaginable. Peace would often be caught drinking during a halftime, and of course, we can't forget to mention that he's also known for his main role in the infamous event dubbed the Malice in the Palace. Basically, he ended up assaulting fans after they threw whole beer cups on him while they were in the middle of a fight. It's definitely one of the most famous and scandalous things that's ever publicly happened in the NBA. With all these players having such dark pasts and secrets, they don't seem much of great role models anymore, after all. And I think most still can be recognized as some good role models as long as they acknowledge their mistakes and understand their mistakes having an impact on other people's lives. Well, what do you guys think about all this? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to Triple Double Nation, and be sure to ring that notification bell so that you never miss any of our banger uploads. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.